Yes, thank you very much. Gerry's down from the cloud, so welcome, Gerry.
Yes. Yes. Yes, thank you.
Excuse me, guys.
Does it work? Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Indeed, I had a 2-hour delay in the cloud, so I just in time I arrived here. So from a logistic perspective, everything was okay. My name is Gerry Daalhuisen, but just call me Gerry. I'm from the other side. I'm from the Netherlands. Kewill is my company. Only one slide, and then I take you to the back to the SaaS. We deliver software. And software for the supply chain, focused on the execution. So we've got TMS, WMS, air freight, sea freights, customs in many different countries, as well as all kinds of compliances if you are in international trade. Now, and we know what we want to do, and we are very pleased with the whole software as a service development, because this is something everybody understands. This is what everybody recognizes. A traditional supply chain, like a waterfall model, you come from here to here to here to here. Many companies have not only one supply chain, they have multiple ones. You can have different products, or maybe when you even are a logistic service provider, you are being part of different supply chains for different customers. Generally, they are fixed, they are restrictive, not easy to adapt, and just a one-way more or less. And we know where we want to go to, and we really see the cloud as the possibility to make this happening. Create from all your different supply chains that you're being a part of, create your own dynamic supply network. And create an area, preferably in the cloud, where you can mix and match, communicate, and work together with your customers, with your partners, with your vendors, and put it into the cloud, make it easy accessible for everybody. So it's dynamic, it's flexible, you're ready for changes, everything what you want to do. If we look at specific areas which are currently already in place that are very and highly suitable for a software as a service offering and a solution, is for example customs and compliance. It's ideal to search for an application, for a tool which is SaaS based, because there's nothing that changes so much as compliance rules as well as customs. Many times a year there are different upgrades, there are different regulations changing, and all the benefits that my fellow presenters before presented to us are coming back into those type of applications. And then there are other types of portals like visibility and tracking, bidding platforms, inventory platforms, freight exchange platforms. What all those type of platforms have in common is a shared area where you offer your data and others would like to look for it. So there's the connectivity area already coming in, and that's where the internet came in very handy, and finally all those items are now growing into a software as a service solution. We also see that traditional areas like TMS, WMS, freight forwarding also becoming more and more attractive for a software as a service offering. Finally, it all comes back to connecting your customers, your vendors and your partners, and make them part of your system. So not only look the software within your own walls for the benefit of yourself, but realize you're part of a supply chain, and do something with the boundaries before and after you in the supply chain, and make those parties part of your system. This slide more or less comes back to some slides that were previously already being presented. Call them the traditional SaaS drivers. Most of them are efficiency or cost related. Especially nowadays, nobody wants to step into a long-term contract, which is very expensive, and because you just don't have the possibility anymore to justify those dangerous contracts. You are looking for something with a low upfront cost and a quick setup because you want to have a quick return on investment. And this more or less is changing the climate for vendors like us, software vendors, because we have to think differently. It's not only that we are providing the software, but you're also expecting changes in delivering service to you. You're asking yourself, okay, I can step into, call it a small application, but what happens if the economy is changing and my business is growing? And then there's something where software as a service is coming in. Because you can start small and you can grow bigger when you need it. Infrastructure and IT, you don't care anymore because it's all set up. It's all part of the service, so to say. So you don't have to be an IT person anymore to understand or to set up. And more important, there's an ease of rollout. It can be an ease of rollout in one of your own offices. It can also be an ease of rollout in your partner or your vendor or your customer's area. The other thing what the logistics industry is famous of is always changing. Many of you are part of the sales and delivery chain, and you're at the end of the gate. And isn't it the logistics itself? Then it's one way or another hype that is changing things, or the governments are changing the regulations. By becoming part of a software as a service offering, you're used to and stick to standards. And those standards make it possible for a quick update whenever there's a new upgrade of a specific product comes along. Similar to if you have an organization where you have multiple offices with many different types of users, then a good software as a service product helps you in this, because first of all you've got your centralization of data. There's one common shared instance for your data, but also you are working towards standard processes. So there's a kind of compliance in the process that you hand over to the different offices and the different users that are using the solution. The next step, or probably we are already in this step, are what I would call the nearby SaaS possibilities, where the supply chain now is a more restrictive part, where you're getting hand over some kind of orders that you have to do something with it, and you are delivering them, and you hand over the information attached to it. SaaS gives the opportunity and the possibility to create a supply chain community focused on your supply chain, or focused on the areas within your supply chain network. You're easily linking up new customers, new vendors, new partners. You can rapidly expand the people you work with, and the focus is more or less on the connectivity and the data. And the motto is sharing your data and let other third parties help to enrich the data. And finally, one of the known mottos already on the internet is that finally data will fuel the supply chain. And software as a service is the possibility to get this done. Even one step further ahead is that you're not only focused on your own data, you will be able to share and use each other's data. So data that other parties in the supply chain have created or maintained or enriched. It can be even one of your competitors. It can be one of your partners that is delivering the data, but only focused on the benefit of a more efficient and streamlined supply chain. And still, you're able to work individually, but with one view to a customer. So you're going to share services, and you are sharing not only, there's not one product that can cover a whole supply chain. Maybe Excel can, but finally Excel will also be replaced with something else. But everybody can still be using different products, but it's the services of those products that need to work together. And then you're able to have one window towards a customer. And then, for example, you can be a specialist in transportation towards Southern Europe, and you are going to accept also transports and shipments to be delivered in Eastern Europe. The customer thinks that he's doing business with you, but in reality it's being done by somebody else. And since you have one window to the customer, it's more hybrid, and you can extend your services because you're creating and working in a network. Now, all of this is already possible for a very long time, but one of the drawbacks that I see that software as a service is currently holding up is more or less cultural aspects, because you have to ask yourself the question, are you willing to cooperate and really work together with one of your competitors? Yeah, if you cannot keep up with the big names out there, then try to find similar type of companies and work together to keep up. But that does mean that you have to be open and share something with it. And that's one of the things that I think is not so much exposed yet, because the main focus is still on the technology and such. But we also have to change our minds, and we have to work together, because again, the data is fueling the supply chain, and we need to share that data. So that's all from my perspective. I'm now handing it back over to you. Thank you very much.